I walked in with the plug. I walked in with the plug. You know that we serving each other. You know that we serving each other. You know that we serving.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Destini Myier with the Plug Radio LA, straight out of Hollywood, California. This segment is called The Hookup, where you get hooked up with all the latest artists and entertainment. Today, we have Lopez, the designer and the creator of
R3main Royal, and we go by living the royal life.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us some background.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Lopez, and I was born in Pacoima. I'm 27 years old, and I currently work at Kaiser Permanente, and I just have a different strive. And on the side of working, I created a clothing line.
So how did R3main Royal come about exactly?
So R3main Royal came about in high school. I had an idea of creating my own clothing line. I was into designing, I was into fashion, and I thought about doing my own clothing line. So I started it, but once I started, I saw that it took a lot of money. Mm-hmm. In high school, we're not really financially stable or anything to have money to create our own business.
Right.
So I kind of lost my ambition for that. So then I went to high school, I graduated, then I started working. So then I started working at a high school. I was an office manager. Then after that, I became cool with the kids. I started like a little art club. And then with that, one of the students was pursuing more of the art, mm-hmm. and I was pursuing fashion. So he had this little swag going on too. So I liked it. So I wanted to collab with him. So I was like, hey, I have this idea of doing a clothing line, and I love your artwork. I was like, let's work. So the idea worked, and he agreed. So we worked. We came out with a release. I named it Insanity, which it was a little bear with like a crazy bear, all psychopathic kind of bear type of thing. And so we made a release, and that sold pretty good. But then we had a little problem. The mom came in, and she was asking like, hey, where's the profit, or why isn't my son getting anything in return? Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? I think you're misunderstanding. This is not for me to make a profit. This is for the school. Right. I was like, this is a club in order to keep your, to entertain our kids out of trouble, like this way. And she took it the other way. So I was like, you know what? It's cool. Like, I dropped it, unfortunately. But then after that, I started working at Kaiser now. And then I was like, started making money, decent money. I'm not gonna say crazy money, but decent money. And I was like, I'm that type I'm a go-getter. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not gonna sell for what I got. So I was like, you know what, let's bring back the clothing line. So then that's when that came back. So then I felt like you gotta live the life that you want. You live the life that you work for, that you strive for. So, every day I'm waking up in the morning, working, so I want to live that royal life. So then, everybody wants to, rock the top of the line brand, top, being the whip, So my thing was royalty. So then the name royalty came up. So I was like, I'm gonna name it royalty. So then here I go designing again. So I'm doing royalty everywhere. So then I printed shirts. I started making stickers. I started making all this product with my brand royalty.
Right.
So then I started putting it on Instagram, and then one of my old school friends from high school, she reached out to me. She was like, hey, I see you're doing something. She was like, but have you gotten patent, or is it trademarked or anything? I was like, oh, no. She was like, well, I do that on the side. She was like, I would like to go ahead and help you out. So, if somebody's gonna help you out, why not?
You're gonna take it.
So I was like, sure. So she helped me out. I sent her my designs. I sent her everything that I had done. It's under the name Royalty. And then 2 weeks later, she gets back to me and she's like, hey, Albert, like, I got bad news for you. She was like, Royalty's taken already, you know, like, you can't make this. So I was like, oh, man. So that just hit me hard. Like, you know, just all that little money that I had saved up, like, barely even saved up, and started making this product. And now I'm getting told that you can't use it.
How long have you been working on your Royalty line at that point?
At that point, I was probably about 7 months in, like 7 months in, because, you know, I was just saving paycheck. I was putting $100,
Yeah.
$200, you know, saving up. So I got the bad news. I couldn't have that, the Royalty. So, you know, I just hit the ground. Like, you know, if something you're striving for and somebody tells you something, you're gonna
It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt,
hit you a little bit.
you know. So then, you know, my mom has always been that person that's always been behind me and motivated me, and she saw that I hurt, and she saw that I wouldn't leave, you know, my room. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be me anymore, because she saw that excitement, like, because I was coming up with new designs. So she was like, why? She was like, why are you down? I was like, because this is it. Like, I ain't going nowhere. And she's like, you could go somewhere. She was just, switch it up. She was like, switch it up. She was like, what is it that you need to do? I was like, just a name or something, something small that switches it up that I could use it. She was like, remain to your idea. She was like, remain to your dreams if you have dreams. Of course, every parent tells us that, you know,
Right.
we could be whoever we want. Like, remain. So every time she was telling me, she was using that word, remain. So to me, it's like, no, I want royalty. So I was like, well, royal. I was like, remain. I was like, that's gonna be my message right there. I was like, I'm gonna take what she just told me right now to remain with my dream, and I'm gonna keep following with it, you know? So then I was like, well, I'm gonna take away the T and the Y, and I'm gonna be royal. So I was like, let's put remain and royal together. So that became remain royal. So now when you spell remain royal, it's not, whoa, when you spell remain, it's not REMAIN, it's R3. And the reason I put 3 is because it's 3 people in my family. It's my mom, my dad, and myself. So
Just bringing your family into.
That's my king and that's my queen, and that's who they made. So, you know, it gets to me because, you know, it's our family.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this for my family. They worked the whole life for me. I'm trying to give them. I'm trying to retire my dad. He's trying to go to Mexico already. I'm like, go ahead, man. I was like, do it. So I'm doing it for them. That's what I'm doing it for.
So I understand that when you did the Insanity line, right, you were giving back to the school.
Right.
So with Remain Loyal, if you're not already, do you have a plan to give back besides giving to your family, like to the community or to someone else?
I actually have. I do. My mom still works at the high school where I worked at. So when they have like fundraisers or parent meetings, I do give like free like 2-3 free shirts, and like they'll go ahead and raffle them off or give them out, and that's how it is. And I just give back, or sometimes they'll have little situations where they can't afford something. I'll give them like, you know, $50, $100. It's a start, you know.
Just giving something.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we were gonna release some clothes soon, right?
Right. It'll be more towards the baseball designing, because we're going into spring. Well, I think we're in spring training right now. So we're going into baseball. All the Dodger fans getting ready to hit that ballpark. So, you know, if you're not a Dodger fan, then you'll have a nice little Dodger, you know, baseball tee to go and rock. And that's what I'm trying to release. So it's all gonna be based off on like the baseball era and like the springtime, you know. I'll probably bring out some tanks, like
So
purple
like
tank
I can
tees.
get one, like a male one, and wear it as a the dress.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's funny you say that because majority of the people buying my clothes are girls, and it's because they're rocking it the way that you're saying. So I'm like, I have no problem with that.
That's how you gotta do it.
Exactly.
Before we get out here, go ahead and tell them where they can find your clothing or just you on social media.
On Instagram, you can find me at remain _royal_trademark, and it'll be the same thing on Facebook, and it'll be the same thing on Twitter.
You want to spell that one time for me?
Again, it'll be with R3main _ROYAL_TM. You got me all confused.
My bad.
It's okay though. It is a tongue twister
Yeah.
though. It is. Yeah.
There you go. That's Albert Lopez with Remain Royal Clothing. I'm Destini Myier with the Plug Radio LA, where you get plugged and stay connected. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Walked in with the plug.